Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Joanna Milliken and I'm the new head of SAP Marketing Cloud. Although I'm new to SAP, I am not new to marketing. In fact, I was the first employee at a company called ExactTarget. They were a successful tech startup and digital pioneer back in their day, and that later sold to Salesforce, where I recently ran their marketing products. In my early career, I was a B2B marketing practitioner at Hallmark, and there I learned a lot about building customer relationships with a brand and the relationship between marketing, sales, service, and that end customer. And I've been fortunate enough to work side by side with many of the world's most renowned brands, and not just the CMOs and CIOs, but more often with the business and IT users who have hands on keyboard and are trying to make all the teams and technologies work together. I've been studying this landscape for a long time now, and I believe that CX marketing, the SAP Marketing Cloud, has unique advantages for marketers. We are deeply ingrained in the majority of enterprise organizations in the world. We have industry-leading commerce that's capable of delivering a connected commerce experience. Combined with the ability to leverage data from the back office in order to deliver more personalized experiences at the front of the office, this is the capability that marketers and organizations strive for. But the reality is, it's harder than ever to be a marketer. And that was even before COVID forced us to adapt quickly to fully digital interactions. Cloud and digital transformations are no longer down the road, they are now. And no matter whether you're B2B or B2C, MarTech, AdTech, whatever industry you're in, whatever geography you're in, and whatever size your company, these problems that you share with me seem to be universal. First, marketing is leading that CX transformation. They're breaking down silos across the company, and they need their technology to make it possible, and they need to move faster and need us to stay one step ahead. Secondly, with so many businesses seeing flat and declining performance, organizations are placing impossible goals on marketing to double pipeline and increase conversions or other metrics. Yet budgets and resources don't support those expectations, and marketing departments everywhere are being asked to do so much more with less. And then when I started in technology, there were about 150 MarTech companies, and now there are nearly 7,000. And that doesn't just mean that I'm old. It means that anything is possible. The technology exists today to solve all the marketers' problems, but it's just not manageable. With marketers using more than a dozen apps on average to get their jobs done, and each one of those apps creating its own data and needing to be connected, it becomes almost a zero-sum game and a perpetual cycle of constantly adding, implementing, upgrading, and reintegrating. In order for marketers to deliver a seamless experience, they need a seamless experience themselves. Then there's configuring the campaigns and the effort required to bring the data and the content together and having to manage each channel separately. Marketers want to spend less time configuring and more time differentiating. Even the most simple level personalization in a campaign can be just too hard for many organizations, and the ROI for personalization is then always in question. And then if that weren't hard enough, on our end, we the consumer, we keep moving the goal line, changing channels and preferences constantly, and increasingly high expectations for both trust and personalization. So how is a marketer to know what to do? Where do you start? Which brings us to Emarsys. In case you missed the announcement in Christian Klein's keynote, I am pleased to let you know that SAP has announced its intention to acquire Emarsys, the leading omni-channel engagement platform. Headquartered in Vienna, they have spent the past 20 years focused exclusively on improving the lives of marketers. They have an inherent understanding of the problems and challenges facing them today. It's an elegant solution, and it works the way marketers do, focused on outcomes for their customers and their business. Let's take a closer look.
Emarsys empowers brands with the only omnichannel customer engagement platform built to accelerate business outcomes. By rapidly aligning desired business results with proven omnichannel customer engagement strategies, our platform enables you to accelerate time to value, deliver superior one-to-one customer experiences, and produce measurable results. In 2020, Emarsys was once again recognized as the leader in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for personalization engines and received top scores in Forrester's cross-channel campaign management wave, in which we were positioned as the standout leader. So how did we get there? At Emarsys, we understand the changing nature of marketing and have a rich history of enabling brands to deliver consistent, world-class experiences regardless of whatever channel that their consumers use. Brands need to be agile and responsive enough to meet customer expectations at the moment and through the channel in which they're interacting. In order to help our clients succeed with their customers, we need to be able to quickly understand behaviors in real time, then act on these insights just as quickly. And at the heart of that ability is our continuous and evolving platform. We help you find where a growth opportunity is and then execute against it within just a day, via use cases populated with highly engaging, personalized content delivered to the right person at the right time through the right channel. We've taken our insights and experiences and built it into our technology to offer a fully verticalized solution built on continuously evolving cutting-edge technology that allows brands to tap into a knowledge layer that actively guides and supports their marketing efforts. Emarsys provides a completely optimized experience, tailored to your industry, supported by state-of-the-art AI solutions, customer-centric personalization, and real-time interactivity that can scale any brand's marketing capabilities, regardless of their complexity. It shouldn't matter where your customers choose to engage with your brand. We make sure that all of our clients can offer a consistent, engaging experience across every touchpoint, including digital ads, email, website, mobile, and direct mail, and everything in between.
I'm a huge proponent of the idea that there is no online-offline channel. It is real unified commerce, and if you're not present for your customer, they're going to shop somewhere else.
We've removed the barriers to understanding customer behaviors by providing a scalable platform solution that lets you ingest data from virtually any source. Our goal at Emarsys is to enable brands to stay ahead of their customers and their competition by using engaging and personalized content that not only contributes to, but accelerates business results. Emarsys helps marketers deliver the predictable, profitable growth that their businesses demand and the highly personalized omnichannel experiences that their customers deserve.
Thank you, Joanna, for having me. My name is Omer Sharon. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Emarsys. I've been with the company for 9 years. And my pleasure is building the product, and I did it together with the co-founders since I joined. Before I tell you a little bit about what we do, let's start with the why. Why we exist, or why are we here today? So Emarsys believes that personalization matters. That's why we are here. When personalization is done correctly, it truly generates results. And this is proven, of course. Even Google have measured that 40% of customers will actually spend more and become more loyal when they receive personalized communication. And we know that as well, so we can back it up. Also, we are measuring the value of personalizations ourselves, and it is truly meaningful. But the quality bar keeps getting higher and higher. So consumers' expectations are higher, the technology landscape becomes more complex, etc., etc. So today, to do really good personalization is really hard to do. And this is where brands are struggling, and these are the challenges that brands are facing today. Not that they don't believe personalization is important, it's more like very, very hard to accomplish it. And this is where we come in. We develop software that actually makes the best personalization in the world possible with ease. For the marketers, and that's the value that we bring actually to the table. So let's talk about our differentiators, or why 1,500 companies worldwide are choosing Emarsys today. We have 3 differentiators that we are proud of. The first one is, as I said, this true one-to-one personalization that truly delivers loyal customers and value. Our personalization is powered by AI and is channel agnostic. It means that a marketer can configure personalization use cases from different technologies, like a product recommendation or business rules or real-time event data or loyalty, what have you, and configure them and basically drag and drop them to any one of our channels in any messages. By that, creating a unified marketer experience, but also a unified and holistic consumer experience at the other side. That's the second one, differentiator of ours, is accelerating time to value. With our application, basically a marketer can generate use case and activate them really fast, and even within minutes and not within days. For example, if you are a retailer and you want to move customers from making a first purchase to the second purchase, you have a lot of, let's say, a la carte use cases that you want to do, and those are proven to generate results. For example, a price drop. So every day prices can drop in the catalog, and then immediately only the customers that might be interested in the prices or in the products that their prices have been dropped will receive those messages. Or a back in stock is a similar use case, or everyone knows abandoned carts and those kind of stuff. This is we make it very easy to activate them. Really within minutes. It's all built into our application. We actually have crowdsourced a lot of use cases from the leading brands throughout the years we exist, and we figured out that it's best to just package them together and put them in our application. And the third differentiator is measurable outcomes. So everything we do in our platform is connecting to business results. So if you think about the use case I mentioned earlier, so how many conversions of first purchase to second purchase actually occurred because of this use case that the marketer has activated, and everything is attributed to against those different business results, so the marketer can very easily see the impact that they are generating to the business. So that's in a nutshell Emarsys, why we are here, what we do, and our differentiators. And I really welcome all of you to learn more about us. Visit the website and check us out. And until then, we will stand by and looking forward to working with all of you.
So I think you can see why marketers enjoy this product so much. It's such a streamlined experience. Emarsys is capable of doing many things. It's a very powerful platform. One of the things that I appreciate the most is that they really understand the importance of that individual message, that email, that SMS, and making sure that they're getting the right content to the right people when they need it the most. And in today's day and age of curbside pickup, that's more important than ever. Once the transaction has officially closed, we look forward to welcoming Emarsys to the family. Until that time, we'll be operating independently and conducting business as usual. And that means for you, our very valued Marketing Cloud customers, that we remain committed to providing you with the best-in-class service that you expect. And that's especially true now with the holidays just around the corner. We're prepared and ready to support you in the busiest buying season ever. We've also made a lot of improvements over the past year and have even more planned. So let me turn it over to the Head of Product Management for SAP Marketing Cloud, Dr. Stefan Wenzel. He'll highlight recently delivered features and preview what's right around the corner.
Thank you very much, Joanna, for the warm intro. Welcome everyone from our headquarters in Walldorf. We are continuously pushing SAP Marketing Cloud so that you, our customers, can deliver a more personal, connected, and trusted experience to your customers. I'm really excited to share some of our unique capabilities and highlights we deliver in 2020. For this, let's have a closer look at our customer Lucia and Daniel's Chocolates. Lucia and Daniel's produce a large variety of chocolate products for select gourmet retail and cafes and restaurants. Especially interesting are the marketing efforts of Lucia and Daniel's and their Sarah Morris, our marketer responsible for any new product introduction. Sarah is very hands-on. To make product introductions a success, she needs a highly flexible and precise marketing platform. What she personally cares about? She cares about quality chocolate products. She really lives it. And she cares about time well spent. She also loves to work with tools that are really fun to work with. In 2020, we have put a lot of effort into SAP Marketing Cloud to make Sarah shine and her day more enjoyable. Sarah's job for today is to create an invitation campaign for the food fair in Seattle. To start this off, she crafts an email template with the brand new Email Light editor. Sarah starts her day and opens SAP Marketing Cloud. What a pleasant surprise! SAP Marketing Cloud now comes up in a new and very different dress. Styled in the corporate design of Lucia and Daniel chocolates, the colors, the logo and even the fonts are adjusted. Since Sarah is a convinced ambassador of her brand, she really appreciates the new appearance. But it is not only the look and feel. The home screen is simply much better organized. How was that possible? Well, first, there are the new SAP Fiori Spaces and Pages capabilities enabled for SAP Marketing Cloud. It is possible to tailor and reorganize the layout of the home screen of SAP Marketing Cloud for different user roles. By that, apps that are not relevant, for example, are removed, and functionality needed can be better organized according to the needs of the business user. But how could the application be adjusted to look like Lucia and Daniel's brand? This was made possible with the SAP UI Theme Designer, now available also for SAP Marketing Cloud. With a theme, you are able to control and adjust the entire experience of the application. That includes background colors, background images, corporate logos, font sizes, font types, and basically any color of any UI control. The adjustments can be made leveraging the What You See is What You Get editor with built-in previews, and for advanced users, there is also an expert mode including CSS support. Sarah begins with creating the layout for the email. First by simply dragging and dropping the structure of the email and the respective building blocks. Then she places the content, the header, the imagery, the invitation text, the images of the free chocolate samples the customers get when they come by the stand and provide their coupon code. Sarah then adds the personalization. She finalizes with some styling fine-tuning using the right pane of the editor, which provides some powerful styling options. And since everything is what you see is what you get, her job on this is a lot of fun and much easier. Last, she validates the email with the built-in email previews by Litmus to make sure the mail looks great in every email client. Email Lite is just such a breeze to work with. Great design, great personalization options, easy to use, fully responsive content, and email template verification with Litmus right built in. So what else to wish for? Now, since we have a beautiful new email template created in no time, Sarah needs to define her audience and kickstart the campaign. Sarah knows that the key to a successful campaign is a precise audience that targets exactly those accounts and persons that ultimately bring business, and you need to target them in their specific context. So Sarah leverages the industry-leading segmentation of SAP Marketing Cloud. Since the food fair targets businesses such as retailers, restaurants and food shops in the larger region, she selects first accounts in the states of Washington, Montana, Idaho and Oregon. Next, she wants to target not all contacts of these accounts, but only those with an employee relationship which carry the function of a buyer. And second, and at least equally important, she wants to target independent sales agents. They make the majority of their business through sales agents that sell multiple brands. So she targets these sales agents who have a relationship to the selected accounts up front. The target group is now ready with 785 members. Sarah quickly composes the invitation campaign using her email template and the just created target group and releases the campaign so that the invites can go out as scheduled. The precise targeting of both employees of an account with a buyer function and independent sales agents who have a business relationship to this account was enabled by the new contact to account relationships. With this capability, it is now possible to capture different relationships of a single person to multiple accounts, but also to capture different relationships reflecting different capacities of a single person within a single account. And it's not only possible to capture this data, but essentially to run the entire marketing process on the basis of this relationship, including permission, scoring, segmentation, and campaigning. This opens the door for entirely new generation of contextual B2B and account-based marketing strategies.
The invitation is out and the event preparation in full swing. For the on-site event, Sarah needs an app for her booth, where the invited customers can register with their personalized event coupon and pick up their free sample of new chocolate arrivals.
Finally, the day has come. The food fair has started. At the booth, the invited contacts will notice a registration stand with a beautiful crafted app where they are asked to enter their personalized registration code. So we enter the code and let's go. The app immediately recognizes me as Douglas Gray from Marshmallows. It also shows me my provided promotional permissions, which look good. And there we go. This is what I was coming for, the free chocolate tasting packages of the new innovative chocolate products from Lucia and Daniels. I will definitely go for the dark chocolate. And Douglas receives his free tasting sample from Sarah. So Lucia and Daniels created this app, which is tightly integrated with SAP Marketing Cloud without external help of agencies or consultants. But how was that possible? Let me quickly show you how this works. First, an app has to be created, which is our app for the food fair. In a second step, the public APIs of SAP Marketing Cloud are imported into the Mendix environment. Then, with a visual programming interface, the app logic is being built. This allows for highly efficient and effective app development without actual coding knowledge. One of the highlights users of Mendix always mention is the power of building blocks that can be reused in different parts of the application. Once the general logic is available, the user interface of the application is composed and styling applied afterwards. The partnership of SAP and Mendix in this context allows to instantly deploy and publish the app on the secure SAP Cloud platform. In marketing, we know better than anyone else how valuable flexibility and speed are. The power of this platform enabled for SAP Marketing Cloud is huge, and we are very excited to see what you will create with it.
Sarah is relieved. The event was a success, and the first orders for the new chocolate products are already coming in. These were only a few examples of the numerous innovations we delivered this year to make you successful. Last, I really want to thank you, our customers, for the great collaboration in 2020. Together, we achieved a lot. We delivered more than 50 customer-initiated innovations, more than any year before. Thank you. With that, I would like to hand back to Joanna.
Thank you, Stefan and team. It is so great to see a roadmap so heavily influenced by our customers. And I didn't need to be at SAP long to know how important customer success is to us. Which is why no matter how we bring innovation to our customers, whether we build it, buy, or partner, our vision and mission remains the same. We want to empower the intelligent marketer for the intelligent enterprise. This means incorporating all the data you know, including the back office, to understand your audience, personalize content, and automate decisions. It means engaging across channels, across an account, and everyone in your enterprise has access to digital tools to help them build better relationships. And it means delivering one-to-one personalization at scale for the front of the office, but more efficiently and effectively so that you can better differentiate. To support this vision, we'll be investing in these key areas, and these are really the building blocks for our future strategy. So first, we're going to supercharge commerce-led use cases with omni-channel engagement, and we're going to make it super easy to bring all that together with the CDP and Commerce Cloud. We're also going to bring digital engagement tools to the entire enterprise. As sales and service go completely digital, it's important that they get a lot better at measuring that engagement. And we're going to dominate B2B and double down on those things that we already do well. That rich B2B profile, audience discovery, lead and account-based capabilities, so that we can bring all that together with B2C into a comprehensive and complete solution for marketers. Despite all the things that are happening around us, it's actually never been a better time to be a digital marketer. You have a real opportunity to make an impact in a really difficult time. We have a fun and challenging journey ahead, and I'm so glad you're here with us. I really look forward to working with you in the weeks to come. Thank you again.
Hello, my name is Bruce Patillo, and I am the Vice President and General Manager of Ecenta Digital, Ecenta's digital strategy practice. Today is my privilege to have a marketer-to-marketer discussion with Konica Minolta Business Solutions Senior Vice President of Marketing, Kay Fernandez. Kay, welcome to the virtual SAP CX Live.
Hey, Bruce, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. So now 2020 has been, shall we say, it's been an interesting year. So let's start with the elephant in the room and ask, how has COVID-19 impacted marketing strategies for Konica Minolta?
Yes, definitely a crazy time we're living through right now. Yeah. And our corporate headquarters is located 45 minutes outside of New York City. So we closed our offices pretty early in mid-March and had everyone remote. And luckily, in our line of work, Konica Minolta, we help businesses build their workplace of the future. So our workforce was also pretty prepared, and we were able to quickly adapt to a remote work type environment. And the marketing team did a phenomenal job of quickly pivoting. We put together a virtual event strategy that was really focused on digital transformation. Our direct sales teams were completely aligned. They were driving activity and their customers and prospects to the virtual events. And in some instances early on, we had upwards of over 500 people on some of our daily webinars. So
wow,
I really feel we were able to continue to maintain our brand awareness during that time.
Oh, no, that's fantastic. Yeah, really definitely a challenging time. And you, to your point, you're 45 minutes out of New York City. You're right in the epicenter. The early COVID outbreak. So now, as you look at what has occurred this year and plan for the future, what do you see as some of the challenges facing marketers as they try to develop more customer experience focused strategies?
Sure. Yes. Our business is pretty complex. We help customers with anything related to technology, hardware, laptops, building their infrastructure, printers, to workflow optimization, to managed IT services. And we do this across many different industries. So for us, from a marketing perspective, creating relevant content for so many different buyers that we're trying to attract is really, it's a big challenge. And then updating and managing that content as, especially as COVID hit, we had to change a lot of our messaging at that point. So that is probably one. And then also capturing all the behavioral data, right? So how they're interacting with us, where they're visiting on our site, what type of content gets the most engagement, and compiling all that data in a really meaningful way that would allow us to understand it and use it is a big challenge.
That's a great segue into my next question. So obviously, Konica Minolta is an organization with a significant amount of customer data. So how do you view the importance of data and the ability to get a more complete view of the customer?
So data is pretty crucial to any marketing strategy, and it's especially difficult when you walk into an older, more mature industry such as ours. Right. So we had existing customer data that had been in our systems for many, many years and needed to be cleansed. And that old saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
So we had to start there, making sure our customer data was clean. We removed duplicates. We deleted inactive customers and contacts. We established new rules for data governance. We partnered with Dun & Bradstreet to append data, and we worked really closely with our sales teams to drive contact data entry into CRM. So data was essentially the building block for our entire marketing strategy, and it was foundational for us to get our customer and prospect data processes working so that we really have this continuous feedback loop to use for ongoing marketing, capturing more behavioral data, and then really to eventually cross-sell and upsell. Right.
Yeah, marketing data is so important from a customer experience perspective. And without it, it's kind of like running blind in your marketing strategies. Now moving on to SAP Marketing Cloud, which you've recently implemented. What were some of the drivers for Konica Minolta to leave Marketo and move to SAP Marketing Cloud?
It was a big decision. I think we've been a Marketo customer for over 10 years.
Wow. Okay.
And one key component there was the integration into CRM. So we had a pretty kludgy integration with Marketo where we run SAP CRM. And so we actually built the integration with a third-party development company.
Right.
And it wasn't as robust and the user experience wasn't to a point where we really felt sales embraced it. So one of the values of SAP Marketing Cloud was this ability to give our sales reps really more insight into customer behavior, their interests, the customer intelligence. We really wanted CRM to be the single source of truth for them and that one-stop shop for anything related to the customer. So we had to really build better integration with all of the systems going into CRM. So
Right.
I think that was one key component. And then looking at SAP Marketing Cloud, the user experience allowed the marketing team to just have greater control over the entire process. It was easier for them to develop marketing campaigns. It was easier for them to see the data that was captured from all of our different systems, to have it all brought together into one single dashboard that would help them to make decisions on the effectiveness of our content and message. And then ultimately, all of this really helping us to drive sales.
Excellent. And for clarification with our audience, CRM you're referring to is SAP's on-premise CRM system, and it's a very customized experience for Konica Minolta, correct?
It is. We have built a number of different integrations with systems. Dun & Bradstreet, I mentioned. We are continuing to evolve that system. We had some additional demographic information input into their UCC filings. So we try to make that the source for our sales teams.
Perfect. So now, obviously, as we've discussed, Konica Minolta is very focused on enriching your contact data. Part of the implementation we worked with you includes InContact, Zoom, Facebook, Dun & Bradstreet, your website information, as well as SAP CRM. So how does having this data in SAP Marketing Cloud enable Konica Minolta to better segment and target your customers to create more meaningful experiences that help drive demand?
Yeah, so Marketing Cloud has essentially become this one-stop shop for our full marketing automation experience because it's able to pull all this data from various sources. So we use InContact for our telesales to pass data to our telesales team. We use Zoom as the platform for many of our webinars. And then, of course, our website, we use to drive traffic to and conversions, lots of forms that are being built within Marketing Cloud. So it really gives us the ability to bring in all these siloed, disparate solutions and provide, this dashboard and a single unified customer view of all these multi-channel experiences that are going on. It brings it all together, and the way it's presented gives us this really, rich, deeper understanding of how our customers are interacting with us at any given time.
Excellent. Thank you. So how would you rate the capabilities of Marketing Cloud in terms of segmenting and targeting your contacts with relevant content?
Yeah, so that was another big advantage with Marketing Cloud was the front-end segmentation process. What we used to do was essentially download all the data from SAP CRM, do our segmentation offline in gigantic Excel worksheets, and then take that information and upload it back into Marketo. And so what Marketing Cloud gave us was the ability to completely do all of that completely inside the system. And it was completely automated, completely integrated, very powerful tool that took us from manual offline to automated within Marketing Cloud. And then, the ability to segment with more data points, right? So having this intelligent, complex segmentation, not just based on demographics, which we were doing, but also some of the digital interactions and some of the marketing attributes that Marketing Cloud is now gathering. We can take all of that, put some rules-based marketing together. If the customer selects this option, take them down this path, or if they select this option, take them down another path. So it does really give us a more robust ability to not only segment, but also target those customers once they interact with our content. Perfect.
So you referenced earlier wanting to provide better visibility to your sales team about interactions the customers have had. How has SAP Marketing Cloud with the integration into CRM, impacted your sales team's activities?
So every month we essentially support a National Prospecting Day, and it's a big effort for marketing. Okay. It's all focused around sales enablement. We create a lot of marketing assets. We, deliver talk scripts, messaging. We do a number of campaigns leading up to that, and then we drive the sales reps to really engage with their customers and reach out to their prospects. And all of that activity gets recorded into CRM. And what Marketing Cloud has given them is the ability to actually see what we're doing and take that and be able to have those conversations with their prospects and customers, knowing that, we've already had these touch points. Here's the messaging. So the marketing fact sheet that we now see that Marketing Cloud delivers within our CRM platform has really provided the sales reps a good view into all the marketing interactions, and then subsequently any of the behavior, the customer behavior that their lead is making. So it's really been pretty powerful for the sales teams to utilize as well.
So it really lets them have more relevant and contextual conversations based on what that customer's been interested in. When they have that, when they reach out, they can position the call based on those customer interactions and interests.
Absolutely. We're a pretty big B2B company. And, I was always so jealous of these smaller startups with a very nimble, agile, marketing team. As soon as I would download a white paper, 5 minutes later, I'd get a call, hey, I saw that you just downloaded the white paper. Let me tell you more about it. Can we set up a customer meeting, and that was where I wanted to get to with our sales team. Right. And so Marketing Cloud has really given us, that one step that's going to allow us to do that.
Excellent. So what would you say has been the biggest advantage you gained from using Marketing Cloud?
I think from my perspective, it's been around the analytics piece. So it's this one central application for analytics, planning, collaboration. For the digital team, I think it's really about execution and giving them the control to work within one platform from, beginning to end, and being able to control every piece of that marketing campaign has been really beneficial for them to really reduce the time it takes to develop a campaign, to segment the data, and then to really execute, push that campaign out, and then also, really see the analytics behind that, whether or not, it's working, and the ability to make tweaks and adjustments on the fly and on demand.
Really flexible for your team on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So my last question for today is, how would you rate your experience having worked with Ecenta?
Well, so we started our implementation during COVID.
Yes, we did.
So it was a little different, but I will say, Bruce, that your team was extremely flexible, adaptable. I think both teams, we pivoted pretty quick and able to work seamlessly despite not being in the same room or having any existing relationships. I think, it took a little bit to understand some of our processes, but then once when we got going, your knowledge of SAP Marketing Cloud, and as well as some of the other SAP products, that we utilize, CRM as well as ERP, HANA. I mean, that proved really valuable for us to really make sure that we were making the right decision, and some of the features that we were implementing within Marketing Cloud would be completely integrated.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Kay, for your time. I think everybody visiting us at SAP CX Live will gain from your insight and your experience. Anything you'd like to add before we leave?
Well, I hope that we get through this next 6 months quickly and without any big fanfare. I think it's going to definitely be a big change for the world of work, right? Like we're all different, working in a very different way now, and digital transformation is upon us. I think there was a statistic that 70% of businesses said they were ready for digital transformation, but in fact, when it actually hit in March, only 7% of businesses were in fact ready. So we are definitely accelerated the pace of technology. And so, it'll be, if anything, it'll be fun and challenging and keep us on our toes.
The wild ride will continue, I'm sure.
Yes.
Well, thanks again for your time, and we look forward to continuing to work with Konica Minolta.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you all at SAP Customer Experience Live. I'm Matt, Marketing Specialist at Pricefx. I'd like to give a quick introduction to who we are. Pricefx is the global leader in SaaS pricing software, offering a comprehensive suite of solutions that are fast to implement, flexible to configure and customize, and friendly to learn and use. I'd like to touch on our relationship with SAP. Pricefx is a gold partner in the SAP Partner Edge program. Our success has led us to being named as a Pinnacle Award finalist for SAP App Center Partner of the Year 2020. More importantly, our SAP App Center solution, Optimized Dynamic Pricing, is an SAP endorsed app, which is a new category of solutions from SAP's partner ecosystem to help customers become best run intelligent enterprises. Pricefx cloud native platform integrates seamlessly with SAP software to simplify everyday use, providing industry-leading time to value and total cost of ownership advantages to the customer for both B2B and B2C enterprises of any size, in any industry, in any part of the world. With that, I'd like to introduce both Rogelio Rispe and Ignacio Intervide, the CIO and Commercial Development Director of Mabe, to share how they were able to enhance their customer experience with Pricefx and SAP. Hello, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today.
Oh, thank you, Matthew.
Can we get started with you giving us a brief introduction to who Mabe is?
Yes, let me jump with that question. Mabe is a Mexican manufacturing company. We are based in Mexico City, but we have presence in all Latin America with some facilities and commercial and service areas. So also we export around more than 70 countries around the world. We manufacture home appliances. We have a joint venture with General Electric, now Haier company. So we are more or less 20,000 employees, and we serve with these products for all the Mexicans and Latin American homes.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. So just to get things started, can you share how Mabe managed the execution of customer-specific prices and discounts for quotes, rebates, and promotions prior to using Pricefx?
Of course. Hello to everyone. Well, even though we were in a good customer-based financial position, it was a result of centralized decisions, commercial controls, and a lot of manual processes.
Totally see that. So now that you do have Pricefx integrated seamlessly with your SAP ECC ERP system, how are you able to manage this more efficiently and effectively in one system in a central location?
Well, actually, Pricefx helped us to set a dynamic landscape in which commercial teams have the freedom to take decisions based in information and also in an automatic way. And for those opportunities which require specific information or additional reviews, we design also specific processes and roles and responsibilities just to get very accurate deals.
Let me add something that I want to comment, Matthew, if you mind. We have a very important challenge with this project, and I would like to address three main challenges that we have. The first one was to understand the tool. That the tool is very easy to use and to understand, but we define specific key users to understand in deep how the tool was, how to manage the tool. The second challenge was to integrate the tool with SAP, and this is a very simple integration. Once you define the layouts and how to integrate the tool, it's very easy to manage as a seamless platform. So we manage this interface very easily. And the third challenge was to adopt the tool. So we prepare the people, we train the trainers. So we define the key people within the company to understand how to manage the tool. So those were the three main challenges that we face, and we do it in a very short time. So thanks to Pricefx and to Bain and SAP that help us to do the integration.
That's really great to hear, and I loved all of those, those areas we were able to improve on those challenges. So I have to ask, how immediate were those benefits that you saw in terms of, once the project started and implementation? Can you speak to that?
Sorry, could you please repeat that question?
Yeah, absolutely. How immediate were those benefits that Mabe saw once the project went underway and in terms of the implementation?
Well, actually, in terms of control and discount allocation based in client insights, it's almost immediate. However, value capture will depend on the current situation about in the company, how variable it is to set the discounts and promotion to every single customer, and how disruptive you want to be in setting them. I will also add an additional part in terms of change management. This is a big piece of work you got to notice for a correct implementation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great to hear. And in terms of being able to react quicker and more efficiently to market change, would you say that Mabe can react faster and, especially given the pandemic with COVID that we're experiencing?
Yeah, of course. We have sped up our business cycle by almost cutting the quoting part almost to half of it. And an additional to this part, we start capturing value within the 6 months after the implementation of the project. So we have economic value and also in benefits in terms of business cycle.
And also, let me add something. We gain a lot of speed to react for the market and within the business, because what I really like about the tool is that this tool is managed by exceptions. So that is very important, because it's like a big tunnel, is like a big filter. You set up the discounts and where you want to be on the market, and really manage every information and every order by exception. So it's very fast and very quick to understand where you are. And if you are out of these exceptions or these sets that you define on the tool, is a very, very easy to work by a workflow that you can manage the authorizations, the specific authorization for a specific order. So we gain a lot of speed.
Yeah. And I would like to add, as I said, in the past, we were working with a lot of manual processes and based on people, not exactly based on processes. And in this point in time, with the pandemic and all the changes that we are facing day by day, working by distance and working with an enabler which help us to go faster, quicker, and as Rogelio said, based only in the quotings that doesn't fit in this landscape, really gave us a lot of speed and helped us in this specific point in time.
That's great to hear. I love the automation, especially being, having a cloud solution and, this pandemic. That's great to hear. It sounds like, for customer experience, that Mabe is able to deliver, the right price at the right time to the right customer.
Yeah, so also and delivering information to make even better decisions to the commercial people once they are facing the client in every single negotiation.
That's great. So are there any metrics or KPIs that you can share with the audience today in terms of the value Mabe has received from both Pricefx and SAP?
We have internal value capturing and economic value metrics. Also for setting and in the long term, we are just getting what we expect to. But the main purpose of this is not only the short-term value; it's the long-term value, and also how we empower people to take decisions for better deal making.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I love to hear that. So, this has really been amazing, and I can't thank you enough, Rogelio and Ignacio, for participating in this video to highlight the value that Mabe has received from both Pricefx and SAP. I just want to thank you again, and also SAP for hosting this incredible jam-packed event. If you'd like to learn more about what Pricefx's software can do for you, please visit our website at www.pricefx.com, or you can check out our app solution on the SAP App Center. So thank you to everyone, and thank you, Rogelio and Ignacio, once more, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're glad you've joined us. We've got two great guests with us today to share their journey with SAP Digital Asset Management. From Edgewell Personal Care, we have Vikas Boomereddy, and from SAP, we have Peter Chamberlain. Gentlemen, thanks for joining me today. Can you please tell us who you are and what you do for your organization?
Sure. I am Vikas Boomereddy. I lead the e-commerce applications for Edgewell Personal Care. What that basically means is I head and manage our B2B platform, B2C, and marketing applications.
So my name is Peter Chamberlain. I'm a senior director in the marketing technology and tools team. And our team has a broad focus, which is consulting and advising and managing the marketing technology stack. Also quite closely aligned with our colleagues in sales as we share a lot of infrastructure together. And specifically my area is around content management. And as a result of that, I manage an implementation of SAP Digital Asset Management by OpenText.
Thanks for those introductions. Now let's jump right in. Can you help us understand what the business drivers were for implementing something like this at SAP and Edgewell?
Sure. So for us, it was really about simplification for our end users. And when I say our end users, we're talking about the people in the marketing teams, which is where this started. It was how do we simplify their ability to search, discover, retrieve marketing assets that are existing. And for our content publishers, how do we streamline the process of publishing so that they're able to manage and publish assets in one location, but then actually syndicate them out across multiple different channels and tools throughout SAP. And really, the mission was to enable our internal stakeholders to do all of this in order to make sure that we're getting the right content to the right person at the right place at the right time to help our customers as they go through their journey in experiencing SAP.
So we had a multi-year digital roadmap. So we typically sell B2B to like big box retailers. So we had a new strategy to go to consumers directly. What that meant was we have 20 plus brands. So we have 20 plus brand sites. Our goal was to convert those 20 plus brand sites into e-com enabled sites so we can go to the consumer directly. So we partnered with SAP to help with our journey. So we selected SAP Hybris. I think now it's called CX. It's our e-commerce platform to build our websites on. And along with that, we went with OpenText Cloud to manage our digital assets for both the websites as well as the marketing teams. The bigger driver was everything was outsourced with agencies across multiple brands, regions, and countries. So the goal was to bring all that in-house. And with that, we wanted a great tool to start with. So that's where the driver was to go with OpenText.
Because, you know, that's a great point, and that happens almost everywhere, right, where you've got agencies and all the different people that you're working with. From a business user perspective, how has bringing this in-house and running it on SAP Digital Asset Management impacted your business users? And going beyond that, what's the overall business outcome been?
Sure. So in the past, we had multiple systems. People were maintaining duplicates across the systems. There was no one snapshot, the truth. So it took us anywhere like average 5 to 10 minutes to pick an asset. A lot of time spent on that. With OpenText coming in play, it's just a search away, and it's very organized with the right tagging being done. So it saved time for the marketing folks for Edgewell.
Great, thanks. You know, Pete, let's explore that a little bit for SAP. I know that there's a lot of time savings with your implementation. Can you delve into the business user impacts and really the time savings overall?
So very similar to the experience that Vikas has had, you know, enabling our users to search in one location, have the confidence that it is the correct version, not have to search multiple repositories in order to find an asset and then have the question of, is this the right version, not the right version? You know, this year alone, we're at over 250,000 searches Now imagine if that had to be done through multiple repositories in order to find the right version. It's tremendous time savings for the teams to be able to find it in one location. Additionally, for the people that are producing content, an optimization and streamlining of the publishing process, because if they're managing it in the one location, we're able to populate it to all of the different tools and channels across SAP via an API. And the savings there is, it's a time savings because you're managing one publishing process, one location to maintain. But that enables us and paves the path for, because we have a standardized common taxonomy across the systems, some of the integrations we've done, and we have 22 different channels and tools that we're supporting throughout SAP out of the one digital asset management system. So it's been a tremendous streamline and optimization for us.
Have you done the math on that, Pete, with the, you said it was 250,000 searches, and I'm forgetting the numbers here. I think you said it was about maybe a 12-minute savings per search?
Yeah, similar to what Vikas had just said, we figured about 10 minutes per search, depending on the user. A casual user might come in and not really know the taxonomy that they're searching through, so they might put broader search terms in, trying to discover the assets that are available. But now with a standardized common taxonomy that everybody kind of understands and is enabled with, that reduces the time. And then if you think about that and you multiply out the 10 minutes, if you have to go across multiple repositories, one search, if you have to go across 4 or 5 repositories, could take 40 to 50 minutes. Now it can be done in one.
Okay, Peter, you mentioned that you have a fair number of environments to which the SAP Digital Asset Management system is connected. And you've got a bunch of different audiences as well. So we've got 2 very different environments. We've got Edgewell Personal Care with B2C and B2B, and we've got SAP with some B2B, but a really large internal audience. Can you tell us a little bit about the systems to which you're connected and how those work with SAP Digital Asset Management?
Sure. So you're absolutely correct. We do have multiple different types of experiences that are integrated into our digital asset management system, about 22 at this point. And those range from things like our image library, where we manage photography for the company, rights management, restricted access, has an entirely separate interface and application that's drawing from our digital asset management system. And then throughout marketing, there are things like demand generation content, collateral content. All of that is managed in parallel with sales related content. So sales enablement and sales customer engagement content. So really we have go-to-market content mixed with knowledge management content, all managed out of one metadata model. And that provides different experiences, from campaigns to feeding SAP.com to providing access internally to certain sales related tools, certain event related tools. So the experiences are quite unique. The use cases are in many cases unique, but the commonality between all of them is the ability to manage it from the one digital asset management system.
Vikas, our time together is coming to a close, and before we close, I'm wondering if you have any closing thoughts or words regarding your environment and how you serve your business users at Edgewell Personal Care.
Sure. So we went with OpenText Cloud, so that's one hands-off for us because we were a Tintin team, so we got the best-in-class, I think, competency from OpenText. So it's a hands-off approach for us. Maybe one key thing I want to share was, since we do use SAP Hybris or the CX for the websites, we did an integration between OpenText and Hybris. The good thing about that is you load your asset in OpenText, and that kind of translates into different image sizes, for example, to mobile, to tablet and desktop, and it syncs back to your e-commerce platform, which goes to your website. So it was pretty easy sync from OpenText to the websites from a content perspective.
Thanks very much for that, Vikas. Really appreciate that. And Peter, appreciate your time as well. It's quite enlightening to see how two very different organizations are using SAP Digital Asset Management for two very different audiences. And to the audience of this presentation, our time together is coming to a close. If you have, if you'd like to hear more from Peter or Vikas, please reach out to your CX AE and they'll get you in touch with them, or any of our other great SAP Digital Asset Management users, and we'll make sure that you get in touch with them. On behalf of Peter Chamberlain of SAP and Vikas Bhumireddy of Edgewell Personal Care, this is Paul Woods. Thanks very much and have a great day.
Thanks, guys, for joining today. I'm really excited to spend some time with you and look forward to hearing a little bit more about the journey over the last couple of years with Marketplace. I actually just looked at numbers from this most recent month, and looks like you guys are on track for the biggest month ever since the Marketplace launched last year. So I think 40% over the previous month. So really great stuff. Good timing, and welcome. Maybe a good starting point is telling us a little bit about how we got here today, and a little bit about Toyota Material Handling and the Marketplace journey. Steve, maybe you want to kick us off and give us a little background.
Sure. Toyota, great brand. We've got a fantastic dealer network. We're number one in our space, and it's been that way for a long time. But we were a little bit behind the times, I think, when it comes to things like marketing. So about 6 or 7 years ago, we started down a journey towards digital marketing, and found that it worked very well for us and our dealers. Our dealers did their part, closing deals, using all the intelligence that comes out of a digital toolkit, and it helped us improve our market share. And so, of course, with that kind of success, you want to go further. And so our vision expanded towards a customer portal and towards e-commerce, and put in place our e-commerce platform a couple of years ago in close collaboration with our dealers, and have continued to kind of we definitely took a crawl, walk, run sort of approach, but we continue to build on that platform and learn more about it and how to make it work with our dealers.
That's great. So I love that this is really a partnership with the dealer network. And as a traditional manufacturer, there are so many stakeholders, and just thinking about, the history of the company, you have internal stakeholders, teams, sales organizations, traditional marketing, you have your dealer network, and then you have customers. When there's a shift from, traditional offline ways of doing things to a digital platform, and, with Marketplace as being a part of that, just curious how, as an organization, you were able to navigate that change and maybe continue to do so, that digital shift across the board. Nick, not sure if you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely jumped into e-commerce, building off of the success that Steve was talking about with digital marketing. We earned a lot of trust with our dealerships, and really showed a lot of value. So when we introduced e-commerce, it was the next logical step in kind of our digital transformation journey. But it was definitely a challenging step. I mean, e-commerce in an established distribution network or dealer network is pretty scary when the OEM says, hey, we're getting into this space, because you see it so often, OEMs or businesses going direct to the customer, and that was never our intent. And we had to make that very clear with our dealers. We actually established a dealer council that sat with us and helped guide us, and we used as a sounding board, and they used us as a sounding board, quite frankly. So it was a very collaborative effort with our dealers, and that's what's really led to its success, because we've been able to respect the traditional relationship that we've had with our dealers, where we still sell all of these products to our dealers, and the dealers still are responsible for the retail sales selling to the end customer. But with e-commerce and with the Marketplace and our digital customer experience in general, we're able to take those end customers and give them an option to buy online, and we can standardize and centralize that buying experience to where it's very streamlined, and then we can use our Marketplace to route those orders and connect the customer to the local dealer in their geographic area and complete the sale that way. So, looking at it from a full picture, the threat, the perceived threat from a dealer really goes away. And when you break it down to the smallest level, the dealer now gets emailed orders and saying, hey, this customer in your territory just ordered these parts. We can also get some intelligence on what forklift they're buying those parts for and pass that to the dealer. And then the dealer has the autonomy to decide how they want to manage that order They can either fulfill it out of the parts that they've already acquired from us and is local to their distribution center, pick, pack, and ship, or they can place a drop ship order with us and we'll drop ship it on their behalf. So a lot of dealers have come a long way over the last couple of years with us, and really reaping the benefits of e-commerce.
Makes a lot of sense. And I love to see how you have set this up. I think it's a really innovative approach, especially given the kind of local brick and mortar element of the dealer network. So thinking about just core competencies, right? So Toyota Material Handling, great brand, great manufacturer, has really built like a strong reputation in the market. And I'd say brand is a core competency along with obviously manufacturing capabilities. The dealer network is really good at relationship management and has that local footprint. So again, back to those core competencies. When it comes to digital though, it seemed like, originally neither organization or neither set of constituents there really had that digital DNA or core competency. How have you kind of figured that out together, given that you have shared objectives of driving sales and delivering more value to customers, but not navigating that between the dealers and Toyota Material Handling as an organization? How has that worked? Steve, maybe you have some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would answer it this way. Our dealer network is excellent with the customer face to face. More and more of our customers though are, they're growing, they're bigger companies, and they're working with more than one of our dealers. And for those customers that work with more than one of our dealers, having independent, fragmented, or different ways of conducting business, calling things different things, pricing things differently, etc. These become customer pain points that can be resolved with some sort of standardization or centralization. And digital pushes you to have to do those things. And that's really the hard work around digital, is getting your process in place, getting centralization in place, getting standardization in place. There's lots of solutions to help companies along from a technology standpoint. And, it's a very important decision to find the right solution. But the hard work for us is getting, all of this stuff to work with our dealer network, because it's primarily independent companies, but they're also the lifeblood of our company. And as the relationship, shifts from just face-to-face to face-to-face and digital, we have to work very closely with our dealers. And what Nick was describing earlier about the dealer council, it was a collaborative effort, because the dealers are on the front lines of whatever the customer is disappointed with. And if the customer's frustrated or disappointed with the fact that they're getting a different experience one dealer to the next, they want to help us resolve that. And so we've all been motivated to do that.
Nick, earlier you had talked a little bit about really, digital marketing and customer acquisition. And what's interesting with the Toyota marketplace is you really have parts, which are, they're not huge ticket items from a sales standpoint. And knowing that you guys are really trying to drive more adoption of truck sales, right? The big ticket items, penetrate that market. How is the parts marketplace tying back into that bigger objective of selling more trucks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very complementary. They are very complementary of each other. Any kind of piece of mechanical equipment needs to be serviced, needs, service parts, replacement parts over time. And the availability of those parts is huge. That's sometimes the decision maker for customers, is how easy is it for me to get parts? In our industry and in most industrial settings, downtime is the largest cost for a customer. And by having a parts store that's online 24/7, 365, not taking vacations, not taking lunch breaks, customers have access to parts when and where they need them. So it really gives them a good sense that I'm being taken care of. I'm going to buy this equipment from Toyota because I get the Toyota dealer network. I get the Toyota certified technicians that are out in the field turning wrenches and servicing forklifts, but I also have parts availability at my fingertips whenever I need it.
So last year at the summit, Nick, you had shared about the marketplace launch and getting out of the gates and really like your first few months down the marketplace path. We're now in year 2 and just looking forward into kind of what's next and growth we've seen. And, hopefully there's a lot more of that to come. But as you guys are thinking about, the path forward and the platform helping you bring the business to that next phase, what are some of the things that are top of mind or really a focus in year 2 here?
Yeah, when we built this out, it was, we're a B2B company, B2B setting, very firmly in B2B, but we built out e-commerce at the start, more B2C focused. We were selling to people that, happened to work for a company, but every person had their own separate account. So even if, Steve and I were both working for Toyota, he'd have an account, I'd have an account, they weren't linked. This year, we're really focusing on what we call My Toyota Store business accounts. So we're creating a Toyota account, and Steve could be a user, I could be a user, all of our colleagues could be users, and we could have different levels of permissions. And when we buy, we're buying on behalf of Toyota, and we're aggregating all of those orders under the Toyota account. And we can provide special pricing for certain accounts, based on volume. We can create standardization across what Steve was alluding to earlier with the multi-territory customers working across multiple dealerships. And we've got some very large customers, very well-known names that are starting to use our system, and they're doing so because they get that consistency. And a lot of these companies work 2 or 3 shifts. So late at night, when everyone else is sleeping, they have technicians that are out there responsible for fixing forklifts. And now they have an account that they can log into. They can find the part that they need based on their model serial of their forklift. And then when our dealer wakes up in the morning, they've got an order ready to pick, pack, and ship to that customer. So really focusing on the B2B side of the marketplace is where we're headed this year. And we're seeing some early success, and we've got some pretty advantageous goals for us and for our dealers throughout the rest of the year to onboard several of these customers.
Hi, my name's Dan England. I'm Director of Global Payments at Newskin, and I'm here to answer all your questions about our integration with WorldPay. Yeah, at Newskin, we offer personal skincare products, dietary supplements, cosmetics, and other products that help people to feel good about themselves. But before WorldPay came along, we didn't have that overarching system that could handle global payments in all of our regions, at least one that plugged into our finance, our operations, and our customer service platforms. This meant that we couldn't efficiently accept payments in many territories, and the business wasn't flowing as fast as we wanted it to. So we spent a lot of time searching for a new solution and found that there weren't many out there that offer the payment types that we needed. Yeah, obviously we wanted to be able to offer our customers the basics, Visa and MasterCard, but we also wanted to offer as many alternative payment methods as possible so we could reach our different customers in every territory that we are in. And that's when we found WorldPay. They offered us the WorldPay B2B payments to integrate to our existing backend solution and their plugin for SAP Commerce. That was a real game changer for us. Yeah, the WorldPay's plugin for SAP Commerce made it really easy for us. It plugged right into our existing SAP solution, and that instantly gave us hundreds of new payment options. And the WorldPay B2B payments also integrated into our existing backend systems, and that gave us a complete view of our global performance wherever we needed it. Yeah, so as a publicly traded company, regular airtight financial reporting is really important, and WorldPay's B2B payments made this much quicker and straightforward. So now we can process payments of almost any kind and streamline our end-to-end AR processes, including reporting and reconciliation. And at the same time, we've moved away from our old cumbersome accounting processes, which saved us a lot of time and money. Well, the most impressive thing is that we achieved all of this within a single integration. So we've implemented our global payment strategy to our B2C commerce storefront in a secure and unified global payment strategy all in one go. Yeah, absolutely. With tokenization and 3D Secure and the WorldPay's fraud prevention tools that are on offer, we're more secure than ever. And then WorldPay's plugin works brilliantly with other tools too. So we can easily integrate with third-party providers, and that helps us boost our security even further. Oh yeah, absolutely. The combination of WorldPay B2B payments and the plugin for SAP Commerce has really streamlined our processes. It's provided a secure and simple B2B payment solution, and it's boosted our access to a range of global and even regional payment methods. And that's all helped us to reach more customers globally and accept payments faster and more securely. So all in all, the integration with WorldPay has been great. As a result, we're already working on our next project with them, which is an upgrade to S/4HANA.
Hello and welcome. I'm Nicole Olby, Managing Director of Payment Partnerships for Barclays Payments. And we're here to talk about the importance of delivering seamless and secure customer experience. Customers online are looking to discover, browse, and pay with ease, while businesses are really looking to maximize their revenue across a number of channels. They're looking to automate their selling, they're looking to drive down fraud rates, but most importantly, they're looking to make smart decisions based on real consumer behavior. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Warren Pike, who is the Billing and Fraud Manager from Experian. Warren, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Great. First question really to you, Warren, is could you please explain a little bit more around Experian, what you do, and what the partnership with Barclaycard is?
Sure. So Experian's expertise is built all around data, and Experian turns that data into something meaningful for our clients by gathering, analysing, combining or processing it to help businesses or people achieve their goals. For businesses, this could be fraud detection and prevention, KYC, or just helping make better decisions. I work within our consumer services, and this is all around helping consumers understand their credit report scores, monitor for fraudulent activity, and get better deals on their credit card, loan or insurance, helping consumers secure a better financial future. Myself, personally, I'm responsible for billing operations and strategy, and what that involves is ensuring how we get customers safely into our products, how we bill them customers, and how we go about collecting them customers. And that's why we have partnered with Barclaycard to enable to have a strong payment strategy.
Such an important service, and in these times even more important. Could you provide a little bit more colour in terms of the relationship and partnership between Barclaycard and Experian?
Yeah, so we've been with Barclaycard as a partner now for 10 years, and the relationship has obviously got stronger over that time period. And what Barclaycard have really helped us do is look at how we handle our online e-commerce, how we look after and maximize recurring subscriptions from our subscription products. We then work very closely with the team to monitor what's going on. We work very closely with Barclaycard, who help drive improvement through these metrics to help us understand how we can improve further.
We are here at CX Live to talk about customer experience and just how important it is to deliver a seamless and frictionless experience. Can you tell me why customer experience is important to Experian?
Yeah, I think customer experience is key, and it's all from your first impression. So the first time a customer engages with you, mostly that will be through websites nowadays, and during your whole life cycle with that customer and the relationship. I think more and more people, especially in the world we're living in at the moment because of lockdowns, are obviously having to switch to online as well. So customer experience, I think going forward will be even more so important to succeed in. At Experian, we have a whole team that is just dedicated to customer experience. And one place where billing and that team need to collaborate and work very closely on is our sign-up process. So for us, that is kind of the last step in our onboarding journey, whether it's renewing one of their products, setting up a new 30-day free trial. All of that involves capturing card details and being able to securely store them. And a lot of errors that I personally see from websites on their payment pages and integration is they focus a lot on customer experience across the whole website, and then you get to the final page and it can be a clunky checkout page, which can put customers off. And then even worse, if you do decide to go through, it can be very slow processing speed. So I think where Barclaycard have really helped us is ensuring that we have a clear, secure and reliable payment gateway. And when the customer decides to confirm and click confirm, that gateway is there and is ready to process the payment. It will be very slick. There's no slowness because of demand, whether that be on our website or across the industry, and obviously getting back the important information if that payment's been successful or not.
And Anecdotally, I think we feel, and certainly being in the payments industry, it feels like as people are moving from brick and mortar transactions into online, that customers are really becoming more demanding, frankly, and that they have higher expectations of their journey. Are you encountering that? Do you see that as well?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I think customers, especially with our brand Experian, expect a high level of customer experience, whether that be how you flow through and interact with our website. And as you just alluded to, that as more and more customers move to that environment, they expect that same experience online. So more and more, and the reason Experience have invested in customer experience and having a whole team dedicated to that is that we do clearly see the demands from customers. And as I spoke about earlier, that is the expectation that customers expect, and it kind of reflects you as a business.
Interesting. So the Experian Barclaycard partnership has been in place for a number of years now. Could you talk about, what the value of that partnership, having a strategic partner going shoulder to shoulder with you in this environment, focusing on customer experience? What difference has that made to you and to your business, and in fact to the businesses you serve?
Yeah, so it's been key for us over our growth over the last 10 years. And one of the key things is obviously we have a trusted relationship, have key points of contact of anyone I need to talk to. Obviously, we share the same vision, the same goal. And while we know a lot about the payment industry, Barclaycard has a wealth of knowledge and obviously learn through their own data, through working with other merchants. And that can really help drive optimization, whether it be, like you said, on the customer experience side, on the best practice side, how to maximize our recurring transactions, using the partners that Barclaycard also have, whether that be Barclays Bank, and that can really help maximize our revenue, also maximize our conversion through our channel. And I think the key part for us, as we know in the payment industry, there's always a lot of change, but of late there's even more change going on, and it helps us stay on top of the latest innovations, the latest ways of working, the latest tools out there, and alongside that, the latest trends in customer experience.
Warren, we are incredibly proud of our partnership with Experian and everything we've managed to deliver over the 10 years. Do you have anything that you could share, any sort of tangible results that you can share driven through this partnership?
I think there's been many great successes that we've had throughout this partnership, and I feel that some of the key ones were very early on in our relationship, looking at account updater when that was a new innovation, and really drove collection rates up, increasing it by 4%, which helped grow persistency in our subscription base. As we worked through that, one of the key challenges was also looking at our chargeback processes and how we could get support from Barclaycard on that. And we're down 60% on chargebacks that come through to us now, and very high success rate in defending them as well. And then probably the latest one, as I spoke about, as we've moved to the new payment gateway, is the reliability and the speed. For the last 6 months that we've been on that, 99.9% uptime. So it's always there when we need it, and it's really helped ensure that we have a very stable checkout page for our consumer.
And look, we are incredibly proud to have Experian as a partner, and certainly for a partner as long as you have been one of ours. So thank you, Warren. I want to take the opportunity to really thank you for your time and for spending this afternoon with me. I think it's been really insightful, it's been thought-provoking. And for me in particular, what I'm taking away from our conversation is just the importance of payment optimization capability when combined with really valuable data and payment data, and how that can help us gain real sort of tangible insights into customers and into process, which ultimately, will deliver better outcomes for consumers and for our businesses. Thank you again so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I'll introduce myself first. My name is Guy Nirpaz. I'm the CEO and founder of Totango. And with me, we've got Keith Strodman and Shelby Zaronada. Sorry, Shelby. And but why don't you guys go ahead and just introduce yourself, and we'll get it from there. So Keith, why don't you start?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Keith Strodman. I am COO of our Customer First organization at SAP, and that is a big part of our customer success organization. Really focused primarily on our cloud customers, but as you'll find out throughout the session today, that we're expanding that coverage.
My name is Shelby Zaronada. I have been with SAP for about 15 years through the SuccessFactors acquisition, and I've worked for and with Keith Strodman here for several of those years. I'm responsible for running the Totango Customer Success Business Solution here at SAP for primarily our cloud customer base and our customer success field, soon to expand to broader footprint of our customer base, and happy to be here today and share a bit of our story.
What were the core objectives of the project as you guys embarked on it?
There were really three big things that we were focused on in terms of our core objectives. The first was just knowing our customers. It may sound funny, but we had lots of information about our customers, but it was spread across many systems, many solutions. It was very difficult to get a consolidated view of what products a customer had, what was the health of that customer, what was the status of even things like their satisfaction and so forth, because each of these solution areas had different systems. So a big part of it was to better understand our customers by getting a consolidated view of that customer, and a system of truth, if you will. The second thing is we needed to derive a more consistent experience, and that's where we talk about turning insights into action. SAP is a pretty sophisticated company when it comes to using data, but because the data was spread all over, we weren't good at turning that data into actionable items in a consistent way. So things like success plays or alerts and triggers if there are risk situations, and how the kinds of things that would drive us to engage with the customer in a time of need. None of that was automated. So turning that data and that information into actions was a big driver. And then ultimately, you always have to have a real a selfish business reason. We wanted to drive customer for life, or the retention of revenue, improve value realization for our customers, but also scale. So drive operational efficiency in our own organization. And Shelby will probably talk about a little bit later some of the future things that we're really focused on. We've already started to do some, but we really are focusing on now is more automation and digital delivery and so forth. So being able to touch more customers in a timely way helps us from an operational efficiency standpoint. So those were the primary objectives that drove us to a technology and a process re-engineering, if you will.
What was the kind of the scope of that? Did you see customer success that goes beyond just the cloud business into the on-premise business, or what was the initial thinking? What's the current thinking?
Honestly, I think our scope initially was for cloud, primarily because that's where the focus was on harmonizing the process and the people and the playbooks. Now we're focused on bringing in the rest of our footprint, if you will, because the customer, frankly, doesn't care how we are deploying solutions to them, whether it be through public cloud or on-premise. They care about the experience overall. So yes, now we're focusing on bringing in full scope of customers to drive that consistent experience across, regardless of what deployment model they have.
So let's switch gears. So you had a problem, you had that clarity of vision of where you want to deliver on it. What were you looking to solve from a technology perspective? What were the core capabilities that you were shopping for?
We can do a lot of things with data from a presentation standpoint and from a dashboarding analytics standpoint. So, it wasn't about transactional systems and customer information. That data exists at large scale at SAP. What we were really trying to solve for is, what is that data telling us? And then ultimately, how do we want our field to engage based on that data entering a certain threshold or KPI Things like, we have a new customer, we need to onboard that customer, triggering action, turning that data into action. Or our customer is, for example, dipping below a certain threshold of usage. Having our field be able to know that instantaneously and then triggering action to engage with the customer to mitigate any potential risk there, or health scores, or NPS surveys. So our big focus was, how do we take all the data we have, and on the slide you're sharing here on the left side, right, all the transactional data, all the reporting data, all the KPIs, and how do we turn that into the right actions at the right time for our field? And so what we were coming from was, field, go interpret all this data and figure out when it's the right time to engage with your customer, into a motion of, we're going to tell you when it's the right time to engage with your customer.
Yeah, so if I if I look at the slide that we currently have, so the left-hand side is capturing the information and organizing it and making sense out of this, and the right-hand side, 4, 5, 6, and 7, is the part in which you take action systematically. Am I reading this correctly?
You are. And I would say, on top of what I just said about actioning data, is also using that data for digital scale, right? So, we talked a bit about every line of business having different tools and views into customers, but the other reality too was, there's basic things like branding, how you communicate with your customer when you're onboarding them. And if you have 11 lines of business doing that in a slightly different way, customers feel it, right? And so part of the Totango solution was helping us solve for driving consistency on the right messaging and touch point with that customer, with the right brand, pointing them to the right resources at the right time. So we have significantly leveraged that capability within Totango.
Guy, I noticed there's some questions coming in about how we're infusing experience, and that's actually something that's very prominent at SAP, given an acquisition that we made about 18 months ago of Qualtrics. We try to infuse people experience and customer experience, product experience into everything we do, and a big part of that is coming into Totango now. So when we see customer experience, or even our own employees' perceptions or attitudes toward what the customer experience is, we try to capture that and build that into our health scores, and try to use that data and that insight that we get from our experience platforms and programs, bringing that into Totango to take advantage of it in our success processes.
So let's talk a little bit about the scale and first outcome of implementation, and clearly, I'm sure that a lot of the folks in the audience also want to know, what are some of the key learnings and where this is all going, right? For SAP, implement the largest customer success implementation in the world with Totango was definitely a remarkable achievement. But what are some of the implementation learnings? But more than that, how SAP is different today than it used to be before?
Let me set the stage, and then Shelby can go into some of the implementation learnings and some of the deeper stats. But the other piece that we did, Shelby mentioned this already, in terms of focusing our initial implementation. We did this initial implementation very rapidly, in just a little over 6 months. And a big part of that was our own data organization. A guy will remember us having to corral some of our data, make last minute decisions to fly to Germany to work on the data elements. But all of that said, a big part of what we tried to do is not only we kept our focus on those processes that I mentioned earlier, but also we kept the stakeholders focused directly on our dedicated customer success resources. So the initial release was about, 1,200-1,800 people, depending on how you count it, that were pure customer success. And then we knew we were going to expand from there, because our whole customer first initiative at SAP is to make customer success a big part of our DNA across SAP. So I'll let Shelby talk about what she and her team have been doing to massively expand this coverage and the number of people that are participating in customer success and using Totango today.
Yeah, so the original go live set of users was about 1,200, and that consisted of CSMs, CEEs, and then their management operations support. We have since expanded, we're 18 months 19 months in. We've expanded to over 13,000 users. And again, as basic as it sounds, a single customer view was really critical to SAP. You can imagine my example of I'm a CSM in SuccessFactors. I have no idea generally what CSM in Ariba was doing, or even what the footprint was of that customer, or what was at stake. And so this mindset, if you will, of customer first, SAP, and then line of business helped promote that single customer view. So with a single customer view, a 360 view, standardized KPIs, the entire account team, regardless of the line of business CEs and CSMs, can see across the account. So they understand and they can collaborate together at what's at stake and what they're trying to promote for that customer as a whole versus in their silo. That was really important for SAP, bringing that transparency in and opportunity for collaboration. The simple workspace that is inherent in Totango that comes with that. It sounds again silly, but just managing tasks and touch points for your portfolio wasn't something that anyone really had in a standardized way. It was all on notepads or in Excel or in Outlook. So we hear a lot of positive feedback of just even having that workspace to understand the holistic picture and being able to manage work with their customers and with their account team in general. I mentioned also that onboarding, both insights into onboarding where our customers are at in their journey, and adoption and consumption were two parts of the life cycle that we really wanted to narrow our focus on. So onboarding customers, knowing who a new customer is, engaging that customer with the right content, introducing yourself to that customer, all of those elements of onboarding, sending the right messages to those customers. So as part of our Totango deployment, we've enabled and automated over 160 messages across multiple languages across all of those solutions, whereas before those customers often weren't getting any touch point at all.
Where are we going from here, right? So implementation started 1,200 people, now over 13,000. Where this is all going from an SAP's point of view?
For us, we're actually going through yet another transformation from an organizational standpoint at SAP to further bring together, and this actually touches on one of the questions out there, further bring together our customer experiences across both our cloud and our on-prem business. So we recently combined some of our on-premise customer success areas with our cloud success areas and created a new customer experience board area or services area within SAP. So a big part of what we're doing is expanding to look at our customers more holistically across cloud and on-prem. The on-prem has always been a very stable business. So again, it wasn't our starting priority, but now our customers are demanding that we look at them holistically and help them through their overall value realization, not just solution independent or just cloud, for example. So that's a big part of it. And then of where we're going in the future. And then the other big thing is we're going to be on this continuous journey of how do we scale better, right? We're still growing very rapidly. For a large company, our cloud business in particular is growing very rapidly. So we need to be able to be more efficient and more effective. We just can't keep throwing bodies at our customer success efforts. So things like digital engagement, things like making information more accessible and on demand for our customers, and then using data to help prompt the customer to engage with those on-demand assets and those on-demand capabilities. And on-demand could also be one-dimensional.
Yeah, so let's see how well you're in sync, Shelby. You just need to continue.
Okay, well, I'll do my best, picking up where he left off. So, the digital scale engagement is big, and digital and or tech touch kind of get used interchangeably here. But data-driven and automation, regardless of motion. The practice and tooling for on-premise customers and harmonizing first and foremost, how do we engage with our customer as a customer regardless of their deployment model, and then Totango enabling that for us. We have this center-led approach where there's supporting resources similar to a VAT in pre-sales, where we get a notification that they're not using the product, and it's because how they implemented the product. There's resources that are center-led that also will start contributing to those processes within Totango. Our customer health scoring is an area that, as a big organization, we tend to struggle with, but ongoing improvements to our customer health scoring, leveraging some predictive models, and then a big focus on renewal KPIs and renewal planning as part of the overall success planning. That is a huge piece for me, because when you see all these questions in the Q&A of how do you know the impact you're having or not having, KPIs such as renewals and did you achieve upsell, or did you grow the account, or did you churn anything, that is where you actually measure how do you know what you're doing in the middle actually matters, right? How do you know all of this engagement through onboarding and adoption is having an impact, whether it's automated or through a high touch motion? So that's a big part of our focus over the next couple of quarters. And then I just did share, and I think you have the slide up, maybe you don't, just some answers to some questions about metrics around usage and end user satisfaction and login and engaged usage rates. Number of success plays we're automating on a monthly basis to get engagement with our customers. Yes, exactly. The touch points that we're driving with our customers, the targeted messages that are reaching our customers that they're engaging on, and the open rate and click-through rates of those. So just a few metrics to share with all of you. I think that answers some of those questions that were in the Q&A.
But thank you very much for taking the time and sharing the story of the largest customer success implementation in the world with the audience. And for those of you who want to start with your journey of customer success and Totango, if you haven't already, you can simply go to the Totango website and sign up for your free account and get started. So thank you very much. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Shelby. And thanks for Lorena for setting it up. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Raj Didada. I'm CEO and co-founder of Bloomreach. I'm also the author of an upcoming book called The Digital Seeker, to be published by Columbia University Press in the spring of 2021. My guest today is Sean Coombs, Vice President of Digital Products at Canadian Tire Corporation. Sean, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Raj. It's really good to be part of this discussion with you today.
It's great to talk to you, and it's a real pleasure to talk to somebody who, one, has been in the industry a while now, working with some of the best brands around, and I know driving so much for Canadian Tire, and actually partnering with both SAP and with Bloomreach through that process. Let me just dive in here, Sean, and start by asking you, what are the key kind of digital business challenges that you have been focused on solving, maybe pre-COVID, and then after that, more recently, post-COVID?
So Canadian Tire is a company that's almost 100 years old, a very tried and true retailer. And so I came into the Canadian Tire family about 20 months ago, and one of the major challenges was really just going through a transformation around digital. And the challenges really were getting a company that was used to doing big mega projects, maybe 3 or 4 big ones a year, to start having them think about going more continuous delivery, focusing on data-driven decisions and continuous learning as well. And so we were starting down that path, and then all of a sudden COVID hit.
Yeah.
And the good thing for Canadian Tire, not necessarily for the world at large, but the good thing for Canadian Tire is it really forced our transformation to go faster.
Yeah.
There was a great appreciation amongst our leadership that we really needed to make decisions quickly. We needed to try things, fail quickly, learn, and make the modifications. So exactly the transformation that I was trying to bring to the table, just the timeline accelerated. And a great example is the need that the customers had to be safe, but also to get the necessities that they needed to have. And so we had to introduce curbside. Normally that would be a project that would take, in the old days, maybe 12 months, maybe 16 months by the time you went through all the approvals and talked to all the stakeholders. We were able to actually get it done in 2 weeks.
That's
with our 500 independent franchisees or dealers. And so if you can imagine that, it's because our model at Canadian Tire is a little bit different, because we have a dealer model or a franchisee model, that we had to get 500 independent owners all on the same page and get all the collateral material out to them and do the technology integration.
Wow.
And we did that within 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, I guess
exciting.
It shows what's possible when there's urgency. And so I'm sure you showed a lot of people within the organization the speed at which you could operate to make stuff happen. And that's awesome. 2 weeks to curbside. And so let's maybe step back a little bit. I think when we met originally, you were early to Canadian Tire, and you'd moved back home, is what I remember. You're Canadian originally, if I remember that. And we were talking about findability as a core problem that you wanted to try to solve. And this was now going back to even prior to COVID. Just interested in kind of the business challenge that led you to work with Bloomreach, and how Bloomreach played a role in that transformation and in those business challenges.
No, great question. What I was really focusing in on when I came on board about 20 months ago was there are some core, I would say, capabilities, customer experiences that we really needed to win at in order to be successful. And one of those was around search and navigation, which is really around discoverability and findability. At Canadian Tire, we have a series of companies. We have our flagship Canadian Tire, and then we have a series of other companies like Sport Chek, Marks, Atmosphere, and each of them have unique catalogs and different product types. And what we needed to do was take what we had built originally, which was a homegrown solution, and figure out how to actually increase, as I say, the findability of products for customers. And one of the challenges that we had in our homegrown system was it was taking a very long time to build out the necessary components. I would call it really, it was phase one of a very dumb search engine.
Yeah.
All it really looked at was the individual keywords that were typed in by the customer and matched them against product title.
Yeah.
Whether the words themselves were important or not. And so we had very complex products within our site, and we had some basic products. Like one example of a typical keyword search that we have is light helmet and helmet light.
Yeah.
Now people would say, what does it matter that the order of the words are different? Context matters to humans, but it also matters to the search engine.
Yeah.
The helmet light is actually something that customers would use for camping or caving, that they would be going into dark caves and that, and it's something you put onto your forehead. Whereas a light helmet is really a helmet that I want to wear that's not very heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And we as humans really know the difference between the two.
Right.
Search engines themselves, especially the internal one we built, was not that smart, as I call it, a dumb engine. And so when we actually were able to get the Bloomreach search engine on, we saw a world of difference between those two. When we looked at helmet lights, we actually saw all the camping lights and the caving lights. And the light helmets we saw for motorcyclists and for bicyclists.
Yeah.
And we got exactly what a human would expect. But in our old engine, we ended up with just a hodgepodge of different helmets and lights together.
Yeah.
Because if the product had the word light in it, or if the product had the word helmet in it, we showed it up in our old engine. And depending on how many times the product sold, we'd see those things rise to the top. And so what we ended up seeing was some weird results, and it didn't make any sense for our customers. So what was exciting was when we moved over to the Bloomreach solution, we saw logical, reasonable results that really drove significant improvements. And we saw across the board 20% at least lifts in all of the banners that we put the Bloomreach search engine in. So we were very pleased with that result.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that story, Sean. And look, I think while we look back at those kinds of search engines, the text-based search engines that you were referring to as ancient, in truth, it prevails across much of the industry that traditional search engines have done text matches in a way that doesn't consider word order or intent or semantics in figuring out what the user actually intends. And once you figure out how to extract semantic meaning from the query and associate that with the product catalog, and then marry in performance data and user behavior data, you have the opportunity to build an interesting experience. How important a problem is search for your business? As I remember, this was used by dealers, maybe used by consumers directly. You've got lots of different constituents. When you think about the digital journey, how important is search?
So for us, it's a critical starting point. What we found with our old search engine, though, is customers didn't rely on it. Mm-hmm. And so when I first arrived at Canadian Tire, the search utilization versus people browsing and navigating through the hyperlink farms was disproportionate. Yeah. We were seeing probably 8 to 12 to 15, maybe 20% of our customers doing search.
Yeah.
And then the rest, they were just meandering through the text links.
Yeah.
And again, my days at Amazon and my days at Home Depot and Dell and Hewlett Packard and other key e-tailers, that was not the pattern that I had seen before. Yeah. Generally, it's 50 to 60% of customers that will actually do text search or voice search, and then the balance will be meandering through link farms. Mm-hmm. And so what we've seen over time now is the numbers rising significantly. We've seen 3 to 4-fold increases in the volume of searches taking place now. And as you said, it's not only our end customers that are doing searching, but we have our associates in the stores that are also using it, because it's really the product information that we have on each of our individual products helps them to sell and explain the usage much better to customers. A great example is leveraging the ratings and reviews, because sometimes the manufacturers or the product information doesn't talk about all the specific uses. A great example is some of the insecticide products that you're using for your gardens. One of the typical questions that comes in is this going to harm my dog or my cat? And a lot of the time, the manufacturers don't bother to put that information in. But users will speak to that and put that information in so that there's that extra user-generated content that the associates in the stores can leverage in that and talk about it. Or they can talk about this garden hose is not very flexible. It actually gets brittle easily and tangles into a mess. I'm going to not recommend this one to you, but I'm going to recommend the one beside it because it is much more pliable. So those are things that really help our store associates and help our customers that make the right decisions. And finding the product to start with through search is a great idea.
That makes sense. And what you describe in terms of getting to 50 or 60% for a catalog as large as yours is consistent with what we see of comparable businesses. And you raised the really interesting point, which is that if you build the right search engine, you both should get the revenue impact immediately of conversion lift and revenue lift, but you should also see usage growth, which then creates a compounding effect where you just get better coverage. You drive people into the funnel much more deeply. And by the time they're either interacting with a store associate or deciding what to buy, they're further down the funnel and it's more likely that they buy the product. So that totally resonates.
Yeah, completely agree. As Jeff Bezos would say, in that the flywheel effect. And that was one of the things I took on from my early days when I was there in the 90s when the stock price at Amazon was $20.
Right.
Was the concept of flywheel and scale. And so that's one of the guiding principles that I continue to use as we build out our digital strategy here.
I'll ask you this, which is if you were to think about from a technology perspective, the implications of all the things you're doing and related to Bloomreach, related to SAP, but maybe related to any technology vendor that you might be looking for. As you think about what you're looking for from a great partnership with a technology company to build towards your vision, what are the most important attributes that you'd be looking for?
So I think first and foremost, we're looking for industry leaders and that to really be willing to partner with us, to definitely come with already the top tier technology within their field.
Yep.
I think more importantly, to be willing to partner with us, because what we want to do, and you've described it very well, is move into a non-separation world, a really what we call interconnected retail. Mm-hmm. Where from a customer perspective, they don't see a digital world, they don't see a physical world, they just see Canadian Tire.
Yeah.
And so we want to have leading partners come with us on this journey as we figure out together what are the things that the customers need now and will need in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Because we don't have all the answers. I think the best way for us to understand this is to fail quickly, learn, iterate, test a lot, and have that flexibility and not necessarily do big mammoth releases anymore, but do this incrementality, do this prototyping. Let's pick a handful of stores and go in and see what works, what doesn't work, and are we on the right track? And so it is hard when you find these upper right quadrant partners. They like their roadmap because the roadmap allows them to be repeatable. But I think one of the important things is for these partners and that to realize that they probably need a half dozen or so core companies, and they can be of different sizes, that will challenge them, that will actually allow them to create a roadmap that will be sustainable for them in the future. Because just being in the upper right quadrant right now doesn't guarantee you that position in 3 to 5 years from now.
No question. And the technology industry is littered with technologies that started well, but then got taken over by people who invented plans in dark rooms and never listen to the markets. Really appreciate you reinforcing that. This is great, Sean. Thank you so much for spending the time with us. I've really enjoyed it and look forward to the partnership.
No, I do as well. And thank you, Raj, for reaching out and continuing to be a great partner with Canadian Tire. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.